morning, ladies and gents that may be listening to us this morning. It's a real pleasure for me to come to you on a Friday and to have the conclusion in our Women in Food series webinar. And this morning, as you can see, we have a very, very full studio. I have 7 wonderful ladies that are joining me from all parts of the food industry, from all walks of life, from all different levels of experience and perspectives. And we're going to be chatting today about why they love the food industry, why they chose the food industry, why the food industry chose them, and also then just their message of encouragement to other women out there as we are allowed to celebrate the fact that we are girls this month. It's Women's Month, and we are just able to enjoy the fact that we make a difference in the food industry in some way. So good morning to all of you, and good morning to all of our guests. Thank you so much. So we've got limited time, so I'm kicking straight off, and I'm going straight to Reshmi, because I would like to know from Reshmi, why did you choose the food industry, and what's your journey been so far? Over to you, Reshmi. Thank you.
Hi, Linda. Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much. So, funnily enough, to study food technology was actually number 5 on my list of choices to study, which is quite strange. But I mean, if I had to do it over again, I'd definitely go back into food tech. So, into food technology. So, I run a company called Food Tech Solutions, which specializes in food safety services of auditing, training, systems development, implementation, and now microbiological services as well. And it's only 2 years old. So 2 years ago, I decided to sort of jump into entrepreneurship. Prior to that, I was 12 years at Cavalier Foods in the meat industry, started off as a quality manager there, and the last 3 years was quality director. So my friends and family think I'm quite crazy to have given up a great paying, secure job to, dive into entrepreneurship. By the time I started my journey with food tech, I was already close to 20 years in terms of experience from microbiology, training, auditing, and all of that. And I think what really pushed me over the edge was when my almost 8-year-old daughter came to me one Saturday afternoon saying, "Mom, I have a great idea. Why don't you apply at my school to become a teacher? Then I can get to spend more time with you." So that completely pushed me over the edge and drove me to make a choice, actually. You know, am I still going to be in corporate, the long hours, etc., or am I going to do something that allows more flexibility? It's not like I have more time now. I'm actually working, I think, a lot harder, with my own business. But luckily, I've got the flexibility of having to be able to work at home. I can drop my kids off at school, and I get to wake up every morning and do something that I'm absolutely passionate about. So I'm really, really grateful for the journey thus far. Thank you.
Thanks, Reshmi. Yes, I agree. Working for yourself, you can't even complain to management, because you are management.
You are management.
Charlene, I think you can probably relate to some of Reshmi's story, having just had little Emma and a new addition to your family as a mom. But tell us, how did you get to be Dr. Thesiger?
Sure. Thank you, Linda. Well, if I think back, I would most probably say that food safety was always part of me, in my blood, as they say. From a young age, I was very particular about the food I eat, not because of the taste necessarily, but more about the possibility that there could be a risk of getting sick. Even today, I will say my entire decision making around food is based on food safety and the quality of the product. While I was busy with my honours and master's degree in microbiology, I worked in one of the professor's laboratories that at that stage did microbiology testing on food products. I realized there was a huge opportunity for an accredited microbiology testing laboratory in Bloemfontein. With my husband luckily having experience in business and financial part of a company, we started S&T Labs Bloemfontein in 2013. Currently, we have 2 branches. One is in Bloemfontein and the other one is in Johannesburg. And with exciting expansions to our business in the near future. So yes, that's how I become part of the food industry in South Africa.
And then on top of that, she qualifies for her doctorate. And she is the mother of 3 children, one of whom is really new. So yeah, I don't know how you do the juggling. It makes me tired just thinking about that. And then a husband who runs these crazy long races. It's exhausting. But congratulations on your recent qualification and your recent baby, Charlene. It's great to know that there are women that can take on these challenges. Sharon, you're nodding there with so much wisdom because you have had a lot of experience with raising children, but also running and establishing a company within South Africa because you used to be very involved with specialty chemicals. Tell us about your journey.
All right, so good morning, everybody. So nice to be with everyone. My journey started a very, very long time ago. I had an incredibly inspiring teacher at school. She was my maths and science teacher, and I decided while I was in high school I wanted to be her. So I actually started to study to be a maths and science teacher. I did a chemistry and maths degree at Wits University, and I went on my first teaching prac. And all I can say is that we are fortunate that there weren't more dead children in the world after that episode, because I realized very, very quickly that teaching was not for me. It took me back to a memory. I grew up in Germiston, and I was very fortunate to get a bursary from a group in Germiston who paid for part of my education. And the bursar of that group, Mr. Plen, late Mr. Plen, said to me when he was interviewing me for the bursary, the 2 most important professions in the world are teaching and the production of food, or the supply of food. Yeah. So when I realized that teaching was not for me, I thought, oh well, plan B. And I started looking for positions in the food industry. I was very fortunate. I got one very quickly. And that's how the food industry actually came to me. It has been a most incredible career. I've had amazing interaction with the most amazing people. And really what I want to say is that it's the people who make the journey. I very soon realized that it wasn't the laboratory environment that I wanted to be in, or research. So I wanted to interact with people in the food industry, and many wonderful opportunities came my way, one of which was to start my own business in specialty chemicals, as Linda mentioned, which I did with the support, the encouragement and the financial backing of my dear husband, who later actually became my business partner in the business. And so we started the journey. We established the business, Sharon Vallel Chemical Marketing, and yeah, the rest is history. We sold it about 5 years ago, and I'm now working as the Assistant Executive Director of the South African Association for the Flavor and Fragrance Industry.
Absolutely. And if I have any questions about flavors and fragrances, Sharon is the first one that I phone. So, and Sharon has got not just children, but lots of grandchildren. And I mean, you've really got, you've been also been, you know, juggled a lot of balls in your career. And you've shown us that it is possible, you know, to have the best of both worlds, Very brave that you tried, that your husband was your business partner. Same with Charlene. My husband fired me 3 times. We've tried it, and we just decided he is the Minister of Finance though, but we decided we couldn't work together. Lindiwe, how did you come to where you are in the food industry at PHT?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Linda, for the opportunity to speak to the young people in the food industry. I remember when I started my journey in the food industry, there weren't platforms like these where you could hear from everyone in the industry as to what to expect within the industry. And for me, when I started, I actually wanted to register for computer sciences. And my second option was biotechnology and then food technology. And I am so glad I never went into computer sciences, because my husband is in that space and I can't even read what he's written on the computer there because it's just so encrypted. So I'm very grateful to have come into this industry. And of course, I said hi to Sharon earlier on because she was a mentor of mine, and I served under her. I say served under her in great respect, because for me within the food industry, I feel the passion resonates more than anything. And I am in a space now of food safety and hygiene, and for me that resonates so much. And I mean, I've been through R&D, your microbiological space, and like Sharon said as well, that in R&D is for very, very smart people, and I consider myself to be one, but in a different space. Having the ability to interact with customers and basically help people to upgrade their facilities to the right type of hygiene and food safety, because I do believe everybody deserves to have safe food. It doesn't matter what social class you're in, but you do deserve to have safe food, and it is a huge passion of mine. And I am with PHT. I'm serving under Deline Boshoff at the moment. And I love it because the kind of passion that we have for food safety is just amazing. It's just not about supplying an equipment into the food industry, but it's to make sure that the solution works for the intended use within the food industry. But yeah, thank you so much. Lovely platform to be in, and thank you to everybody that's here. Reshmi, it's the first time I actually see you, but I have really heard quite a lot of good things about you. So yeah, thank you everybody.
Oh, thanks, Lindy. Yeah, I think it's it's so great that we can. If we talk about the food industry, a lot of people have spoken about how small it is and how important it is that you don't burn any bridges in the food industry, because you never know who you're going to be working for next. But I think one of the great things is that it means you get to make friends. And so I think that's the wonderful thing that I've gotten, out of not just an amazing career, but just the friends that I've actually had, the opportunity to work with. Prof, I have to say, I think if I had to do things over, I probably would have followed in your footsteps, because I have to say, I have found that the very brief instances where I've been able to interact with students at a university level, so inspiring. I've loved every minute of it, that I think if I had to do it again, I probably would have gone into teaching at a university level. So I'm sure you must love the fact that you have been the part of so many journeys of so many people that are now doing such great things in the food industry. So tell us about your story.
Good morning, Linda, and everyone joining. Yes, I must say, it is actually quite amazing to be able to be in this world of academic and to be working with students. The one thing when one stands in front of a class and you look at all the young people is you realize the potential sitting in front of you, and the individual students, they don't realize, the potential that they have, and it's very difficult to convey that to them. But on the one hand, it is very exciting to stand there and to know that each of these students in front of you have the potential and will make a huge impact. And then when we follow their journeys, and sometimes down the line, firstly, when you see them at graduation, they come back and they've got stars in their eyes of how excited they are to have been able to join the food industry. And then a few years down the line, when you see the actual positions that they have been able to obtain and that they're working and the impact that they're making, that really, it's very exciting. And what I also enjoy, especially with postgraduate students, is the great appreciation there is between but even undergraduate, between lecturer and student, and the great respect. And that they make an impact on your life as well. And the impact that you can make in terms of their journey that they are going to do in the industry.
Absolutely. And for that, I salute you, because I think that you have the work that you do and the passion that you have, for the food industry and for food safety. I think that's so invaluable in our country, and I think we, for everybody that's actually on the panel and even listening, there is a lot of thanks that has to go to you for the foundation that you've built in so many young women that are out in industry, not just in South Africa, but because you have the privilege of teaching many African students. So the work that you're doing is impacting on the whole of the region. And so that's just absolutely great.
Yeah, and I must say we are a great team in the department, and something that we pride ourselves on is working closely together as a team, and we complement each other. So it's definitely not just one person. And we aim for excellence, that's all. We expect excellence and we give excellence. And that is our motto. And we are also very focused on having solutions for Africa and making sure that our students understand that, yes, we have to work at the cutting edge of international requirements, but we are in Africa, and we must have passion and make an impact in Africa.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Prof. So now let's hear from one of your students. Abigail, what would you like to say as an alumni and a former student of Professor Buys? That's where I met you.
It was a great privilege to be able to study food science at University of Pretoria. In that department, it was very much a community instead of the lecturers separated from the students. I felt there was very much of a community feel there. So yeah, I'm currently the compliance officer at Cape Natural Tea Products. So we process rooibos tea and sell in bulk tea packets locally and internationally. I'm involved in the legal and organic compliance, so with Rainforest Alliance, with the sustainability standards. So it's very much removed from what I studied, but I've used all the principles and learning how to work hard to apply that to my job now. Yeah. So
and why did you choose food science?
The story of how I got into the food industry starts when I was about 9 or 10 years old. My school would participate in a weekly feeding scheme for the rural children around our area. And every Wednesday we'd go out and hand out soup and peanut butter sandwiches. It was then when I realized the importance of food, but also the food distribution. And then at first, you not having any background or any family in food science, I thought the only way to get into the food industry was to become a chef. Okay. Because that's what, without any knowledge, and it was a very small town, but I thought, okay, I'll become a chef. But then as I grew older and I walked into a supermarket and I saw a new flavor of Simba chips or a new canned produce that I'd never seen before, I thought, okay, there must be something deeper here. It can't just be a chef. And I always was excited to see these products, but also to know them and understand how they are preserved or just how they've been created and how they got from, say, Europe to South Africa and they weren't spoiled. So, yeah, then eventually that's how I came to realize know of food science and food technology, a career that my parents would consider a real career path.
Yeah.
And just becoming a chef. So, so then I studied at I studied at UP and got my master's. I think I completed my master's because I was so just curious about learning, and instead of going into the industry, I felt I still wanted to learn how to do research. So I'm really glad I completed my master's. Yeah, and now I'm at Cape Natural, and I started just as a 2-month contract, and that was a 1.5 years ago, and I just haven't left. So now I'm a full-time employee.
That's great. And I have to say, for everybody that's listening, I met Abigail on a lead auditor course that I did with one of the training providers at the university for the students. And I have to tell you that Abigail performed better than many of the full-time working auditors that have been in industry for years. Abigail really amazed me. She completely blew my socks off. And so I know that you've got a bright future ahead of you, Abigail, and there's some stepping stones that everybody has to take, but watch out, world, this one's good. That's all I can say. Your mama did a good job, and so did your professor. So well done. Sonia, last but not least, tell us about your journey into the food industry, retail and more.
Morning, Linda, and morning, everybody online. I really feel privileged today to be part of this great initiative of yours, so thank you very much. I think for me, my first passion was always and still was in science, being an analytical thinker and being curious about everything all the time. Science was obviously the choice of career for me. I then had to make a decision in which industry I'm going to apply science. But also which industry will bring about excitement, constant change that leads to more learning opportunities every single day, that is diverse, that would challenge me every single day, that was rewarding, but most of all have purpose. So with a little bit of research and attending various open days at universities, and that coupled with a diverse holiday working experience every single holiday throughout my high school career, I decided that science and food was a perfect combination and match for me. So after graduation, I started my career in manufacturing facilities. I had various roles from production, NPD, QC, QA, but I really wanted to get into retail because of the diversity of it. In 2003, I got the opportunity to move into retail as a quality controller within Pick n Pay. I was then promoted to a food technologist position later on, responsible for specific categories of products, and was then later promoted to the regulatory affairs manager for the group. I then received in 2010 an opportunity to start a food safety division within Massmart, and I'm currently in my 10th year with the company. I'm currently the group's food safety manager, responsible for the end-to-end supply chain for food safety as well as quality standards, both for our supplier compliance program and as well as for our in-store food safety program, our company-owned manufacturing facilities, and our distribution centers. As part of Walmart, I have international exposure into more than 27 countries and their retail food safety management systems. And so for that reason, I'm part of a global food safety team. So for me, not one day has gone by in my career where my aspirations with regards to finding a job where I can learn something new every single day, that brings about excitement, where no 2 days are the same, that challenge me every single day, but have a purpose, has not been met. And that is my story.
Absolutely. I remember meeting you for the very first time in 2003 at the very first food safety lead auditor course that we did with Pick n Pay. And that was the very first one that we'd even done in the country. And so, wow, so Sonia, it's just been amazing to watch your journey and to see the amazing impact that you've had on food safety within South Africa. So it's just so good to hear it.